babes. All right, so welcome to week 2's dinner. This is gonna be a sirloin, stir fry, and rosemary potatoes that we have roasted. So we're gonna start with the rosemary potatoes since they take the longest bit of time. You can peel these, chop them however you want. I actually like the skin on the potatoes, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull these out. You're looking around 500 grams of potatoes, so probably a little bit more small. I actually pulled out 600 grams just because my family is going to be eating with me, so we're going to have this all together, the 5 of us, for dinner, which this will also make 5 portions. I also have 5 cups of bell pepper. I'm going to cut up an onion to make about a cup of onions as well. These are sweet Maui onions, and then also I have 20 ounces of extra lean sirloin steak. If you want to trim off some of the extra fat, you are more than welcome to, but I do like to keep it on there for flavor. And then I have about 50 milliliters of olive oil. I'm not gonna be using this whole thing for just the steak or just the potatoes, but I am gonna split it 50-50. So just make sure that you have enough to spare for both the potatoes and the steak. They don't need that much. And then I'm actually going to use maybe another 20 milliliters of oil for the stir fry. So just be mindful as you're cooking these. And if you need anything else as far as extra oils or cooking spray goes, you can even cook the steak with cooking spray, which is something that I'm actually going to do myself tonight just because of being on prep. So normally I would put this in here, but I'm gonna split it with the vegetables instead and then cook the extra lean, or you could do it vice versa. So you could cook the steak with oil and you can cook the vegetables with the cooking spray. Again, it'll save calories, but like I said, the flavor is gonna be what matters. I prefer the flavor in the vegetables with the oil, and then the steak can add that with salt and pepper. So let's go ahead and get started in chopping these up. And again, I just like to cut these already, and I'm gonna probably put them in a bowl as well, so that way I can toss them and lay them out on here. All right, so if you want to, rinse them, cut them, however you please. And we'll go from there. I would say preferably if you want to, you can chop them into a maybe 1-inch cube amount. Yukon Gold or russet yellow potatoes will work. Okay, so the potatoes are all chopped, and I'm just going to finish them off with some sea salt. Pink Himalayan is what I'm using to freshly grill. Now, like I said, I coated these in about 25 milliliters, so half of the olive oil that's in there. I'm not too much of a measuring police, so if it looks about right and it feels about halfway and you have enough room for your vegetables still for the olive oil, then you're good in my book. I like really peppery seasoned peppers, and then I'm just gonna grab 10 sprigs of fresh rosemary. I actually have a rosemary plant I'm grabbing them from. Just kind of break these off and put them in here. It's gonna add a lot of flavor. Now that these are ready to go, I'm gonna put them in the oven. We're looking at about 50 to 55 minutes here. If they need a little bit more time, that's more than okay. What I like to do is I like to cook them about maybe 35, 40 minutes, and then I'll even kind of use some tongs, shake them up, and then let them toss with the oil and cook the other half if they are flipped over at all. So let's get those into the oven, and we'll start on the onions, bell peppers, and steaks as well. Okay, putting these into the oven. I'm just gonna set my timer here for 50 minutes, and that way we can get ourselves started. Okay, so now that the potatoes are in the oven and they're cooking at the moment, we're just gonna go ahead and get the vegetables prepped and onto the stir fry, and then also finish off with our steaks last. Steaks probably don't take too much, maybe 5 to 8 minutes per side, not even. It depends on how much you really want to have them cooked. For myself, I like it a little bit more medium rare, and my family, who I'm going to be eating with tonight, they're going to probably want some of theirs a little bit more well done. So I'll cook for them what they like. Myself, 5 minutes probably each side max on an extra thin lean. These are burning. So worth it though. Okay, so now that the bell peppers and onions are ready to go, we're just gonna toss those into the stove, little stir fryer, pan, pot, however you choose. I'm gonna put this on a and then tossing in the vegetables as well. So you want mixed colored vegetables. The onions are gonna give it that amazing caramelized crisp and a little tiny bit of sweet flavoring. So while those are heating up, we'll get started on the steak as well. The potatoes at this point have about 35 minutes to go. So in about 10-15 minutes, I might just take a little shaker, toss them over. And the steaks will be cooked pretty fast, but I just wanna have everything prepared in time. So my family's starting to get home right now. I'm gonna have the steaks ready to go. We can cut them up as they'd like, and the vegetables are already sizzling, you can tell. It smells amazing as is. I'm not gonna season the vegetables until they start to caramelize a little bit more, but the steaks, once I put the cooking spray on, I'm gonna season them up already. So get yourself some cooking spray, coat it completely if you can, and then we'll get the steaks on there one at a time. So I'm just gonna use the tongs for the steaks. That way I don't touch my hands with it. And I think this will be great. So if you're measuring this out yourself, again, if you're on prep or if you are counting your macros and just trying to track everything, 20 ounces, 4 ounces each, or if you're a larger individual or just need more protein in general, I would say 6 to 8 ounces would be great for a steak, and myself included. I do like having a little bit more protein. So this would be, let me just to show you all, this would be about a 4 ounce portion, or this would be about a 7 ounce portion right here. So just giving you a minor understanding. This is probably what I'm gonna have for dinner versus what my stepdad is gonna have for dinner tonight. Obviously I need a little bit of heat, so we're gonna light it up. Again, about just above medium, and then add some salt as well. Awesome. All right, so we'll let these cook. I can already start to hear this shimmer through. So I can already start to hear them crisp and cook. And again, just like a stir fry. Now the steak is starting to cook as well. I'll go ahead and flip these over in a little bit, but I just want to show you right now, you're starting to get that sizzling. You want to hear it really start to cook and crisp onto the other side before flipping over. You only want to flip it one time, and then we'll add on the other 2 steaks, finish it up, and go from there. All right, so just checking on our vegetables a little bit here. Just starting to mix them. And then you want to let these sit and cook for a little bit as the onions start to turn that goldeny brown color, so you'll want to see it crisp up. And as we let those sit, let's check on the steaks. So you can see it starting to bleed through a little bit off the top. These look beautiful already. Oh yeah, that's the color we're looking for right there. Nice and crisp on the edges. Beautiful. So now I'm gonna season this side as well. Let that finish cooking through. Once it's all the way onto the other side cooked, however temperature you'd like, if you wanna do it medium, well done, rare, however is up to you. Cook it through, and then we'll go ahead and take them onto our other plates, set them aside, and get finished off with the last 2 steaks we have here. As I start to season the last 2 steaks, I'll probably put the seasoning into the bell peppers as those start to caramelize with the onions, and then we will just be left with the potatoes. I have about 25 minutes left on the potatoes, so about another 5 to 10 minutes I'm gonna toss them around and then get them started. All right, so for the steaks, the final 2, I'm actually just gonna prepare them in advance. That's an option you can do if you wanna season them on the bottom first while they're cooking. So I have them seasoned. And then just for visual, these are the completed steaks. They look amazing. They're very juicy, you can tell. So you don't need oil to make them cook all the way, but you do want to keep at least some sort of coating for the pan. So that's why I have this here, and then we'll just put this on top. So a little bit more cracked pepper, sea salt. And then now, as you can see for the onions as well, they're starting to caramelize and turn into that golden color. You can see even the bell peppers are starting to color a little bit more. So because I'm seeing that caramelization, we can add some seasoning to this as well. So let's go ahead and add our salt and pepper. Perfect. I'm just gonna let that sit, coat, cover. You can already tell that these are starting to get their coloring. I'm just mixing through. Now, I'm just gonna check on the back of my steak real quick. See how it's looking. Oh yeah, it's already ready to flip over. Again, if you're prepping these all for yourself, you can portion them out already as you'd like. Make sure you know the weight of them. I would cut the steaks raw and portion them out beforehand, so that way when you're cooking them, maybe you have 2 pieces that you're gonna cook for yourself that are smaller, cut in half. This might be cut into portions, and then you can still prepare it in advance for yourself, so that way you know where it goes where to what meal, especially if you're having these for more than one night in a row. I'm gonna take my steak off here because I know that mine's pretty good at the moment. And then we'll take my stepdad's off in a little bit as well. So you can already see his is starting to get a little bit of color. It just needs some more time. All right, let's check on these potatoes. They look perfect. So I left these in for about 55 minutes total. Just gonna bring them out here, close the oven. As you could tell, I had about 30 seconds left, but gosh, these look so good. These are perfect. All right, so now that our potatoes are cooked, we've also finished off the steak and the vegetables. We can plate everything together. If you want to store these in a prep container, you can do so as well, and then just reheat it in a microwave. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a fork, chop up this steak, check out the temperature on it, see how I like it. I'm left-handed, so and just showing again what the interior looks like. It's a nice little pink center. So it's like a medium rare. And then I'm just gonna cut this into little pieces for myself so I can bite-size them without having to worry. And I love, like I said, cooking with a little bit of fat on the steak just because it gives it that flavor, but you can always cut it off. Small piece. Awesome. So I'm gonna just toss this onto the plate. Get that ready for myself. Awesome. Okay, so that right there is the steak. This right here is gonna be our vegetables and potatoes. So I'm just gonna grab myself a nice handful of vegetables here. I think that'll be good for everyone else. And if you're prepping, this is a good size portion still. Even though I cooked a little extra potatoes for my family, I'm still going to be using about 100 grams for myself. If you wanna measure it, again, if you're on prep, please do so. But I'm going to guess that that for me is about right there. That looks like about 100 grams of potatoes. This I love. I think it's a great meal to have around. So if you have any questions, let me know as far as how to cook, how to prep, how to portion. But this is how I do it. Again, I'm not the measure police. I just want to make sure that everything tastes right, looks right, and is appealing and both appetizing. So I'm gonna store the rest here for my family so we can go eat some for dinner, plate it up for them, and get myself ready for dinner. I hope you all have a great week and enjoy your meal prep.